morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. Look at this. I hate being clean shaven. Hate being clean shaven, but here we are. I like a little scruff. Not as scruffy as I was yesterday. The last couple days, it's been a little much. But I don't like this. I don't like this. I had to wear a hat. John Keating was giving me crap about my Brussels hat. Dan was giving me crap about the Italia hat, the dirty white Italia. So I'm feeling very festive when it comes to baseball. So hence the throwback Cubs jersey. This is actually game worn. And here I am wearing it. It was Nate Shearholtz. So I feel like if it was like Chris Bryant, it'd probably be in a frame on the wall. But it's Nate Shearholtz. So it's on my body. I'm surprised I can fit into a Nate Shearholtz jersey. I bought when I was at Cubs convention last month. I found an Ethan Roberts team issued. They don't sell game worn anymore. They save those for auctions and stuff. And I think my buddy gave this to me. He got it from an auction, Cubs auctions. And Ethan's pretty skinny. He's a 42. So the team issued Ethan Roberts. It's just maybe I'll have him sign it and customs or personalize, and I'll put it in a frame. I also picked up a Daniel Palencia team issue. That's actually my size. So I actually wore that the last day of the Cubs convention. Daniel Palencia, which I'm a big fan of Palencia. I think he's going to be a solid reliever in the big leagues. So I pulled this one out. Still fits me. I'm getting really close to starting to work, starting to eat better and jump on the treadmill. We have a small workout room that hasn't been touched. Even a friend of the family, my mother-in-law's best friend, had this. I don't know if it's an elliptical, but it's like a bike, but it's good on your. It's one of those pedal bike things, and it's got and it's supposed to be really good for you. And gave it to us, and so we have a treadmill and that thing in our workout room, and neither of us have used it. How many months has it been? At least 6 months. So I use excuses like, well, I'm buried in shipping and I've got the card show coming up. Those are excuses. Like I could spend a half an hour, like that's all it takes. Like instead of taking a half an hour, like eat lunch and sit on my phone for a half an hour, I could do that from the treadmill or the workout thing. So I am getting to the point where it's like, man, I'm looking at some pictures and it's like I'm getting a little unhealthy. So I need to hit that up. Maybe stop eating frozen pizza 2 nights a week. Maybe drink light beer, not the high octane craft. I don't drink much pop though. I know some people can lose like 10 pounds just by cutting out pop. Every once in a while I'll have a Pepsi. But I don't like drinking pop because of the sugar content. Like sugar has, the older I get, the more effect it has on me. And I've never been big on sugar. Hopefully I'm not like pre-diabetic. Should probably get that checked, right? But caffeine doesn't have, sugar has more of effect on, although actually I take that back. If I drink a Diet Coke, because my wife's Diet Coke, so if I grab one of my wife's Diet Cokes at like 6 at night, that tends to keep me up, and that's no sugar in that. So I guess caffeine does have some effects on me, where it never, in my younger days, it never did. I could drink coffee. I could drink coffee at 10 o'clock at night and then go to bed in sleep. Now, I was only sleeping for like 4 or 5 hours when I was working in Ratewell. That was when I was in school, back full time in school and working 2 or 3 jobs. So sleep was limited. So the sleep that I did get, coffee didn't affect. It's like I'm exhausted. That was not healthy either. So here we are. I want to talk about the Madison Card Show today because it's official. Contract is signed. It's going to be the biggest Madison Card Show yet. We're at 175 dealer tables this Saturday. Sheraton Hotel, John Nolen Drive. Let's get that banner rolling. There you go. Free admission, 9 to 3. So we'll talk about that. I did spend some time, but I was working through that yesterday morning after I did some shipping, and that was like first order of the day. I wanted to wait until like after my contact at the Sheraton was in the office, because it's like otherwise I'm gonna have some angry people that I'm gonna have to cancel on, and I would be pissed if a promoter reached out to me on Monday or Tuesday before a show and said, "Hey, I don't have space for you." That would annoy me. So I didn't want to do that. And unfortunately, I'm not going to have to do that. So 3 ballrooms plus the mezzanine. So I was dealing with that yesterday morning. And I also brought in my milk crates. I brought in my milk crates of boxes, and I just went through all of them just in case. And I mean, it ended up being an even better buy. I showed off the vintage that was in there. I showed that off yesterday on the show. And that was a surprise. I didn't even know that box of 60s was in there. There was a star box. There was like a 60s football cart, like a common. And then some stars. So that was like, okay, but like $2 card, like basically small dollar cards on eBay. There was a box of Emmitt Smith. I didn't even go through because it was jam-packed. Like it was a 500 count box, jam-packed. And I'm like, I've had some history with pulling some nice inserts from the 90s on Emmitt Smith that sold for $200. Of course, that was a couple of years ago, but hey, even if it's $100, I might luck into something. So that was kind of between the Emmitt Smith lot of 500 cards. There's Steve Young, 800-900 count boxes, Steve Young. And then a lot of like smaller boxes, 100 count, 200 count, 300 count boxes of, Vinny Testaverde, Boomer Esiason, Marvin Harrison, which might be good here coming up in the draft with his son. Players like that. So I based the purchase on Emmitt Smith and Steve Young. Like, okay, I know that I can move these. It's going to take some time, but it should be worth it. Of course, then I find the vintage, and that's like, okay, this makes the whole box or the whole milk crates. $75 a milk crate, the going rate. So I bring that stuff down, and of course, most of it was, I didn't go through some of the Lawrence Taylor, Marvin Harrison. I didn't go through those boxes to see. Eventually, I will. So I pulled out the Emmitt Smith box, and I just pulled a few. Of course, there was a rookie, and this is probably the least valuable of the cards I pulled. Of course, there's a lot of commons in there, but it's a pro set Emmitt Smith, but that's like a $2-3 card. Fleer Ultra Blitzkrieg insert, which I did comp that. It's a few bucks. But hey, anything that I can list and sell for, $250 and up is a big win. This is Donruss Elite Series. This is numbered out of 2,500. This is probably about a $5 card. Zoning Commission from Donruss. This is numbered out of 5,000. Did not look this one up, but I'm guessing it's probably in that $3 to $5 range also. This was another insert. This is from Leaf. It's die cut. Oh, this is numbered. I did not look this up because it's Leaf. This is numbered out of 3,500. It's kind of got an acetate finish. This is a die cut Bowman's Best Cuts. I didn't look this one up. It is an insert, not numbered. Stadium Club Ground Control insert, not numbered. I didn't look that one up. Totally Certified Blue, numbered out of $24.99, and I think this is like a $3 to $5 card. So these were in the Emmitt Smith box. This is this is numbered. I'm like, why did I pull this? Quantum. This is numbered out of 3,000. And Creative Chaos, Fleer Ultra, and then Marshall Falks on the other side. So those were some nice cards, but there were two more. These were in the Emmitt Smith box. This is like die cut, and it's really cool. It's Flair. It's like, oh, this looks like it's a pretty nice card. So this is, I have this listed in my eBay store. I think this one I have for $125, which is not much less than I paid for the entire collection. And then Stadium Club Triumvirate Refractor. And I have this listed at $150, which is the price that I paid for everything. And of course, there was also the Hank Aaron, Roberto Clemente, Frank Robinson. That was a nice little surprise in there. So that was a really, really good purchase. And that's kind of what I was hoping for. Like, there's going to be some inserts that that sneak in there that are, you know, going to be worth it. Even if those $100 plus inserts weren't there, you know, grinding it out on $3 to $5 cards is a good way. Do some small player lots on the base, and it's a win-win. So that was a nice surprise yesterday as well. So other than that, basically what I did was shipped. And I'm not behind in shipping. Well, I am behind in shipping on shipping for the people that want their cards yesterday. I ordered this card last night. How come it hasn't shipped yet? It's like, I'm sorry, you're 99¢ with free shipping. Like, I'd gladly cancel your order. You only bought one card at 99¢. I'm losing. If I refund you the money, I make money. If I send you this card, I'm going to lose money. So I'll gladly cancel the order. You can buy from somebody else. So yeah, but that's why I do 3-day handling in instances where all of a sudden it's a big burden. A lot of the orders I had yesterday, I think when I ended Hobby Evolution, I had 389 orders to ship. Now that's not, some people are like, well, you make 25 cents a card. That's orders. That's not cards. That's orders. I had like a 50 card order, multiple 20 card orders that I had to ship out. So those take time. I can pick, pack, and ship a single card order in about 50 to 55 seconds. Sometimes between 45 seconds and a minute. Okay. Just depends on where it is. And, you know, if it's in a tab that has 150 cards, it might be a minute, you know, if it's halfway in the pile or at the end of the pile. If I go to the tab 1A and it's the first card, boom, 45 seconds. So yeah, 389 orders, not cards. So it was pretty time consuming, and I feel like I'm like not catching up, but I am. I'm still a couple days ahead of I think I'm through today and tomorrow's ship by dates. So now I'm working through Thursday's ship by dates, and of course I've got to, you know, get completely caught up ahead of the Madison Card Show this Saturday. Let's go to the chat. I had leftovers. Are you a leftover? We got to do a little food talk this morning. Are you a leftover person? And it's like 99.9% men that watch this. And I'm assuming a large majority of you are leftover fans. I love leftovers. Love leftovers. My wife hates leftovers. So it's perfect. She's like, I don't want it. I want it. Yes, give it to me. So we had salmon Sunday is the thing in our house. So we did salmon Sunday, and my wife makes this like and it's like the first couple times I really liked it. I loved it. But then like she kind of went overboard on this like crust on this salmon, and it's like it's making me do those faces, and I'm like, finally I just said, it's good, but can I just have regular salmon this time? Can you just not put that crust on mine? See, my wife is like, she has to like put stuff on everything. Like she can't, like I can just eat things plain and often prefer that. So she's got to dress everything up. And so I'm like, I just want plain salmon. And so she did make she made me a piece of plain and a piece of with the crust. So of course there was leftover. There was a piece of the plain left over, and so I was shipping, and she's upstairs, and she had like a bagel and cream cheese for lunch, but she only had half the bagel, and she's like, "Hey, do you want the other half of my bagel?" And I'm like, sure, I'll eat anything, right? That's why I'm fat. So I go upstairs, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like salmon, like lox and bagels, love it. So I'm like, this is just cooked salmon. It's got to be like the same. No, it's not the same. It's fucking amazing. It's what it is. Man, so good. So my wife had bagel, half a bagel and cream cheese. I think this is how I'm going to eat my leftover salmon from now on. So I had the bagel and cream cheese. I warmed up the salmon in the microwave, and I just and it was a smaller piece, so it fit perfectly on the bagel. And my wife was feeding Biscuit as I'm sitting down to lunch, and I'm like, I'm going to try this. And she's like, that looks fucking disgusting. And I'm like, let's see. And I'm like, it's lox and bagels, but the lox are cooked. It's the same thing as lox and bagels, essentially. And I took a bite, and that cream cheese and that salmon and the bread, amazing. So try that. If you ever have salmon, do leftovers. It just makes it better. Leftovers always make things better. Piece of salmon on a bagel with cream cheese. Whew. I'm easy to impress. So that was good. That's what I had for lunch. What did we have for dinner? Oh, we had spaghetti and meatballs. My wife and her friend went out to eat on Saturday night. And the funny thing is, so remember the story of me at last week at the grocery store? They gave me somebody else's bag, but it was like fresh meat. And I'm like, I didn't have time to take it back to the store. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to fix your mistake. So I was going to take it back the following day. And my wife's like, just keep it. So, and then the chicken, I undercooked it. And so I put it back on the grill, and then the propane tank went out. So I'm like, it just wasn't meant to be. My wife's like, we'll just make it, try a third time. Like, no, I'm not tempting fate here. It was not meant to be. I was not meant to have this chicken. And this is a sign. And if I try to continue cooking, if I consume this chicken, I'm going to get food poisoning. That's what's going to happen. So I am not testing fate here. It's not, this is Final Destination. I was meant to not eat this chicken. And if I eat the chicken, I'm going to die or get really sick. So I didn't eat the chicken, but I ate the meatballs. So there's some meatballs, spicy meatball. There are some spicy meatballs. You know, I'm not a big spicy guy. But I do like meatballs are pretty bland. So I do like a little kick, but these had a little too much kick. So I did make the spicy meatball. I think I made them. Did I make them in the air fryer? No. I didn't. I put them in the oven. I put them in the regular oven. And they were like, okay, like I was getting ready for the card show. I didn't care. I just needed something to eat. It was there. Like, yeah. So my wife comes home, her and her friend come back, and she's like, I brought you home meatballs. And I'm like, that's what I had for dinner tonight. So I had one yesterday and it was like too bland. Like it needs to go in spaghetti. And that's what I like. I ate the meatball and I'm like, oh, this is not this needs something. It needs pasta. It needs spaghetti. We need spaghetti and meatballs. So I just had one, like, probably end up just throwing the rest away. But then my wife starts making spaghetti. I'm like, oh, what are you making? She's like, spaghetti. And she's like, do you want me to put those meatballs in yours? And I'm like, yes. Yes. Not the spicy ones, though. I'm going to throw those suckers away. Those were not good. So that was what I had for lunch and dinner last night. So I'm team leftover. Victor's in the house, which I will have leftover spaghetti for lunch today. Victor, what's going on? Good morning. Terry's in the house. Good morning. Unicorn Cupcake, he wants to know who this little boy is. Look at this fresh face. I hate it. I hate being clean shaven. I used to hate like having facial hair. Like I would shave once a week. That's all I needed. I mean, when I had this yesterday, that was probably 6 weeks worth of growth. But I used to I couldn't stand having facial hair. Now I can't stand being clean shaven. It's like, I will like, okay, I don't have to go out in public. So I'll shave today. And by the time I have to go into public, I'll have scruff. And then if I'm gone, like when I go to spring training, it's like, I need to go, like, I can't have a bunch of scruff because I'm going to be there for like 8 days. So I need to time it to where I shave like a few days before I leave. So I've got a little stubble and then, but it's not too much. By the time the end of my trip, it's not like mountain man. Although I don't think I have the capability to go mountain man. Donald's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. By the way, Unicorn Cupcake will be one of the dealers at this Saturday's Madison Card Show. He'll be in the Williamson Ballroom, same spot. If you saw him last month, he'll be in the same spot. There you go, Kevin. You'll be in the same spot. He's got some really cool Venis, some Venezuelans. He's got some of those old Beckett, is it Beckett annuals? Or no, I may be interested in those. I'm going to talk to you on Saturday. So bring those. So yeah. And actually I think I put I put a reel out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, about enlarging to 3 rooms, 175 tables. And I think I used your Venis in one of those. One of my sponsors messaged me. They're like, hey, you didn't even put your sponsor on the reel. And I'm like, I don't think I put any of the sponsors on the reel. Donald's in the house. Good morning. Royals 417. I do look 12. Which, is that a bad thing? It shouldn't be a bad thing. When we're 12, we want to be 25. We don't want to be 40 because that's just ancient. When we get to be 40, we're like, man, I'd love to be 25 again, or 12. But looking 12, when you're 41 and you look 12, that's okay. I'd rather look 12 than 75. I've got some friends from high school and ran into them at the local bar. This was probably a year ago. And we took a picture like, hey, group photo, little mini reunion. And so I sent it to some of my other high school friends, and they're like, boy, so-and-so's looking rough. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens. You get old, you get 40 and you get old and leathery. Art Green, what's up? Good morning. I know, I've got the baby face going today. I don't like it. Good morning. Mikey's in the house. He's heading to Terre Haute. The Sycamores. Harlan's in the house. Good morning. Kyle, good morning. Congrats on the Madison Card Show growth on John Nolen Drive. Take a drink. Sheraton Hotel on John Nolen Drive. Mikey says, what do you think about what Theo said about Cody? Are you talking about Tom Ricketts? Maybe Tom Ricketts came out and made some comments about dealing with Scott Boras, and he says Scott Boras likes to work with the owners, and I think Cubs fans are divided by that comment. I really like that Tom Ricketts avoids dealing with agents. Like, I like that. And it's like, you need to pull out all the stubs and Tom Ricketts needs to make something happen. But I like that he's like, he has trust. He's not getting involved because he's got people that do that. And that's who you chain of command, right? They were hired to be capable to work with agents, including Scott Boras, on player contracts, signing free agents, dealing trades. So I really applaud Tom Ricketts for having faith in the people he hires. I like that. I think that's good. So I know some in Cubs fans. So I'm pretty like woven into the Cubs fandom fabric, and I see it all. Cubs fans are just like baseball card collectors on Twitter. They're going to bitch about something. They're going to bitch about Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto photoshopped into their new jerseys being short prints. But if they weren't, they would bitch about them holding cards until Series 2 or update. Why are you holding these players back? You just can't please baseball card collectors on Twitter, and you can't please Cubs fans. They're pissed. Cubs fans are pissed because the Cubs signed 2 minor league deals yesterday. It's like, but Cody Bellinger didn't sign anywhere. Blake Snell didn't. Well, they're probably not going to sign him anyway, but Cody Bellinger didn't sign anywhere. Why are you angry at the Cubs? Be angry at Scott Boras. I don't even necessarily think you have to be angry at Cody Bellinger. He's not pulling the strings. Scott Boras is. Again, Cody Bellinger hired Scott Boras to do this. Cody Bellinger's just like, this is why I hired you. You know what's best. So, do I want the Cubs to sign Cody Bellinger? Hell yeah. I want them to sign him yesterday. But it's a two-way street. Takes 2 to dance or 2 to tango. And Scott Boras just doesn't want to dance yet. Dan, I did it for you and John. I did it for you and John, giving me shit about my dirty hats. Tea Timer, what's going on? Good morning. Philly Joe's in the house. Thank you. I'm feeling festive. I think yesterday was the first official workout day for the Cubs. Throwing some bullpens. We've got, I think, games start Friday, spring training games. I'm feeling festive. And I need to do laundry. It's probably more, I think it had more to do with doing laundry. But it's a nice mix because I wear like the same 8 shirts every day. So, and I don't like wearing short, obviously it's a jersey, it's short sleeves. I don't like wearing short sleeves in the winter. I'm sensitive to the cold. Because I don't change, I'm not a man, I'm not a strong man. I don't change my own oil. I get cold in the winter. I need to be tougher. A clean hat is a hat without life experience. Good morning. It is. A clean hat is like a mint condition vintage card. Doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. We got 69 live viewers. That's nice. I don't know why. That's a little adolescent humor. I don't know why people like mint condition vintage. It looks fake. Like if I see a PSA 8, 9 Ernie Banks rookie card, it looks like a Topps Archives card. It's like, if you want it, like, I'll just spend $1 and get the Archives version. I want a beater, man, especially when it comes to like tobacco cards. Like, I want some character on my vintage baseball cards. I don't want crisp corners and poppin' colors, although poppin' colors does look cool on those pre-war cards. And that's what a clean hat Clean hat is like a mint condition vintage baseball card. It's no character. A clean hat tells me that a man doesn't change his own oil. That's what it tells me. Christian's in the house. Hey, I don't think I used your code yet. I didn't have my card on me. I'm putting my second rookies order in, and I'm using your code because I don't have. So Christian, I got to ask, and I was gonna message you about this. We're gonna talk rookies app for a second as I'm creating my custom cards for spring training. Has the rookies app, and I think Christian might be the only other one besides me that uses the rookies app in the chat here. Has the app like completely stopped working for you ever? It has to me twice at the most inopportune times. So here's what happens when the rookies app shuts down and doesn't work. And I think I had an episode about this in one of the early episodes of Hobby Evolution. So what happens is it like freezes up and you can't do anything. You restart your phone, in my case, a dozen times or more. You do the close it out, restart, shut down your phone. None of that works. You email customer support. They take 6 days to respond. And they finally say, you're going to have to delete the app and restart it. And so when you do that, it delete because your custom cards that you make are not saved anywhere. They're just in the app. So if the app breaks, you are out of all of that work. So this happened to me twice. The first time I think I lost 200 cards and I had to recreate them all. Then the second time I think it was over 100 cards. And that's when I got really angry and sent them a nasty email. And I don't think they responded. Then I left a 1-star review. And then they on Apple app thing. And then they responded. And they did work it out. They did. So once I recreated all the cards and put my order in, and it was, I don't know, 10 packs. So it was like $100 in cards or more. And they refunded me. They gave me my money back. It might have been like $150 in cards that I had ordered. So, and I think that was last year. So I really appreciate that. So they came through, they made it right. And so I just said, I think what I'm going to have to do is just place smaller orders because I don't want to lose this information. Like I don't want to lose these cards. So that's why I make multiple orders. And so I probably will, I'll never get to 10 packs because I don't want to lose that many cards. So I put my first order was 80 cards. I think this order is 160 cards. And then I'll probably do one more order, which I'll probably have to have shipped to spring training to my hotel because I'll be making cards as I get photos from spring training here in the next couple of weeks before I leave. So I was curious if that's ever happened to you where you've lost all of your information because it's a pain in the ass. So I got to the point where it's like, I need 2 more cards to make another 20 pack. So I made those last night, put the order in, looked at your codes that you sent me. But I was able to use the C. Anderson code for $1 off. And, but then I went in to pay and I didn't save my credit card, which is probably a good thing. And I didn't have it on me. So I've got to put that order in now that I have my wallet on me. Good morning, Ryan. What's going on? Tea timers in the house. I normally catch up on YouTube videos while in the workout room. Time flies if it is interesting. That's true. I always have a hard time finding content that I'm like engaged in because I do have to, you know how I am, ADD. It's like you're on a treadmill in a workout room. We do have an outlet for a TV and we have a TV. We just haven't because I don't change my own oil and I can't hang my own TVs. I am not a man. So I'll have to have a friend over and be like, hey, can you hang this TV for me? I offer beer and pizza in return for you doing handyman work. DPM Sports Cards, what's up? Good morning. Ryan says, I got to update that banner. Yes. And what sucks is so my Facebook ad, like when you change things, you like lose all the information. So I think I might just do a second ad or just end early the first ad and do a second ad for the next few days. Paul Carl's in the house. Good morning. David, what's happening? Good morning. Paul says those player lot boxes. I need to find more buys like that. And this one, that's people ask, well, how did you get this? Sometimes they just fall in your lap. This particular one fell in my lap. A couple guys walking up. Hey, do you buy? I do. And card shows, setting up at card shows, that's like, I know some people don't have time for that, but that's where you're going to find some good stuff, especially once you start word of mouth gets around that, hey, this guy buys. And especially if it's like bulk, not too many people buy bulk. And so if you're a bulk buyer, everyone comes to you. And that is a good thing. So card shows, number one place to buy. Tracy's in the house. Good morning. Ryan, what's up? Yes, Ryan gifted me this hat. Thank you, Ryan. He's a Brewers fan, by the way, as you can see in his profile picture. James says, I had that Flair die cut, sold it for $75. People overlook those. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Paul says, for the Steve Young, I've been getting 40 to 50 shipped for lots of 100. Oh, hey. Hey. That's I'll keep that in mind because there's probably between 800 and 900 Steve Young in it was a long box. Everything else was a shorter box. Fortunately, the Emmitt Smith was a 500 count box. There were a couple other players that were 500 count boxes. Most of them were like 1 and 200, but fortunately, those small boxes were like Curtis Martin, who were Henry Ellard was a longer box. What else was Joey Galloway, Chad Pennington. So some stuff that's just like, I'll get to it when I get to it. Shane, good morning. Sheena's in the house. What's up? He will be set up at the Madison Card Show this Saturday. Sheena will be in the mezzanine as you walk up the staircase, and he's right there. Can't miss him unless you don't look left. You got to look left, and you'll see Sheena at the at the top of the staircase, the mezzanine, second floor, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolen Drive. Ryan says, I'm a meal prep guy, so pretty much leftovers every day. We are the anti-meal preppers. We prep our meals 15 minutes before we eat. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do we have? Well, you know what we have. We don't have anything. I know. What do you want? And then we decide on, let's order sushi. Victor says, love leftovers today. KFC. Hey, yeah. I haven't had KFC in a while because I'm team Popeyes. So if I get chicken, I drive out of my way to Popeyes. But if I didn't have a Popeyes, KFC would be my choice. KFC used to do a buffet. That's why I'm fat. KFC used to do a buffet when I was in college. And we would hit the KFC buffet. And this was, 25 years ago. Damn near 25 years ago. Burger King had a really good dollar menu, man. Burger King's dollar menu, best ever, blew McDonald's out of the water. Burger King had those, I think they were double cheeseburgers, and Burger King burgers are way better than McDonald's. Some people don't like Burger King burgers. If you don't like Burger King burgers, I think you're a communist. Burger King burgers are like the best fast food. Burger King burgers are better than like some of the fancy burger places. People swear by what's In-N-Out? No. Five Guys? No. Other stuff? No. Burger King. Best fast food burgers. Mark, good morning. Love the late 70s, early 80s Cubs uni. I think these were 77 throwbacks. So this is actually game used. Nate Shearholtz wore this in center field in 2013, I think. So on 1977 throwback jersey day. Art Green says, I love leftovers. I am lazy as hell and love not cooking. Here, here. Shane says, all depends on what is for leftovers. It doesn't matter here. If I ate it for dinner the night before, I'm eating it for lunch the next day. Doesn't matter. The only thing, there's one thing that I will not eat for leftovers, and this is something we don't make anyway. It would be carry out sushi. I'm not going to eat sushi the next day. Doesn't taste right. And leftover sushi, I don't know. I don't really care for leftover French fries. Again, I don't think I ever have French. And I guess if we go out and we get like a mountain of French fries, I'll take them home. But you can throw those in the air fryer, and they're much better than soggy fries from the microwave. Dan agrees with Shane. It just depends. Philly Joe is not a leftover fan. I'm a can I eat it heated up in the microwave fan. And that's kind of, that's where I'm like, if I can't, I can reheat everything in the can reheat everything in the microwave, right? If it was heated. Some things just taste better in an air fryer or oven, but I'm not going to take the time to reheat something in the oven. I will, on occasion, throw it in the air fryer, but again, it's got to be something like, my wife will be like, why don't you put that leftover pizza in the air fryer? I'm like, because it takes too long. I want to put it in for a minute. Boom. Salmon, is it croquette? Croquet. Is it the sport croquet or is it a croquette? One of the benefits of having a Colombian girlfriend is not having leftovers. Between her mother, and my mother, I eat well. There you go. Leftovers bring my average meal per person cost down. I'm a fan. There you go. Unicorn Cupcake says, when I was a kid, I would tell my mom to just make the food plain. She would always complain that I was too hard to cook for. By cooking it plain? You were too hard to cook for because you wanted it plain and she wanted to spice it up. Johnny M's in the house. Good morning. Love leftovers in the air fryer. My wife was like completely anti-air fryer. Like, to the fact where it was a joke at one of the holidays. It was I think it was Thanksgiving, and we were talking about what we're getting for Christmas. And like, I joked to my mother-in-law, and I'm like, I'm gonna get her an air fryer. And she's like, no, we are not getting it. And guess what? My wife gave me an air fryer. So maybe if she was just playing it off as like, you're not getting me an air fryer because I already got you an air fryer. But and it sat in our basement for about a year before we used it. And it's like, here I am begging for an air fryer. Like, oh, an air fryer is going to be the best thing ever. And we didn't use it. My wife actually pulled it out of the basement and made like cookies. And I'm like, oh my God, these are amazing. And then like, we used it like every day for a couple of weeks. And then of course, like with any new fancy kitchen thing, you stop using it. But I just used mine a week ago for something. I can't remember what I threw in there. But yeah, air fryer. Now my wife uses it. I use it. Brian says, eating some Italian and Colombian. That's a heck of a combo. I want to come over to Mark's house. That sounds good. I hate hats that have that miscellaneous crap on them, like the ones on your brim. Yeah, I don't know what these are. I don't mind them. If you're a salmon guy, try the Costco stuffed salmon. Oh, I've never tried that. Is it like 7 pounds of salmon? I'll have to check that out. Because I do like that like the stuffed pork chops and stuff that they have at the grocery store. Mark says, you ain't kidding, Brian. Let's see. Unicorn Cupcake. Now that's all I can look at. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. Dan should be sorry. It takes me months and months to find a new hat. I'm so picky on those things. It is tough because I don't like a lot of these new hats are like, they look goofy. So now there's flat. We talked about flat bills yesterday. I'm not a flat bill guy. I don't like if they stick up too high. This is like it's curve, doesn't stick up too high. So I can't order a hat online. I have to try it on in the store. When I go to spring training, I'll go into I really like the spring training hats they have out there. And if they fit on my head like this, I'll buy one. But if they look goofy, I won't. But I usually buy a hat out at spring training. Again, I have to try them on so they don't look goofy. Dan says I have about 40 hats. I probably have 40 hats altogether, but a lot of them are just like collectible. I have a couple game used hats. My buddy Scott, who worked with the Cubs, gave me like a dozen minor league Cubs hats. I get Cubs hats. This one was a gift from Ryan, ripping one-handed. So I unofficially collect hats. Are they Cub fangs? I don't know what they are. Maybe it's for aero, a little more aerodynamic. I don't know. Sports card ripping teacher says, growing up poor, we had to eat leftovers. Yes. Mike Cho, I have more Bowman. Yes. Yes. I'm interested in all of it. Please bring it Saturday. I don't have a table. So I'll be walking around. Although, actually, no. I take that back. I'm going to use East Coast Tom's table. So East Coast Tom, will be set up where I usually am, upstairs in that corner. So I can that's where I like kind of leave my stuff. So when you find me around the show, we can go up there and do a deal. So awesome. I appreciate that. I am definitely looking for more Bowman. And chrome. I like that. Some color. Ooh, I like that. Johnny M says picking up a buy shortly. Lots of rookie Mahomes, Allen, Kelsey, Hurts, no super high end. Lots of $40 and $50 cards, paying $800 for 1,200 cards, a bit more than I usually pay. Well, hey, but I mean, when there's lots of $40 and $50 cards, like that's easy. That's easy to lay out $800. Thank you, Red Light 34 says hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Visit my eBay store. Sports card ripping teacher, love them today. Talking about leftovers, the air fryer makes it even easier to eat leftovers. And better. I don't know about easier, but better. They taste better in the air fryer. Takes a little longer. Brian wants to know if there's any Mahomes or Kelsey acetate stuff. Dan says we haven't spoken about the backs of caps in order. My fave: 1 fitted, 2 snapback, 3 flex fit. I am flex fit. I am team flex fit. I guess I do like snapback. Fitted is tough. Like I think, isn't everybody like 7 3/4 or 7 1/4, whatever, 7 I don't know. It's like one of the most common hat sizes, but I'm team flex. I think this is a flex fit. Oh no, this is the snapback. Okay. And I mean, it fits perfect. So I'd probably say flex fit 1, snapback 2, fitted 3. That would be my order. John says Bo doesn't stubble up well, I suppose. Hopefully he never gets invited to a Miami Vice themed party. I mean, I stubble up well, but it takes about a week. It takes a little while to build up a little stubble. Don't like flex fit because they're always curved brims, though comfy. Yeah, but I'm team curved brim. So that's why I like the fitted. And they fit well on my head. They don't look like a top hat like Abraham Lincoln sports top hat. Bo is what the guys at church headquarters refer to as a twink. I don't know what that means. I don't feel safe Googling that either. When you talk about church and twink, I don't know about that. Might be the dark side of the internet. My students usually guess I'm 10 years younger. Orlando's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Sports card ripping teacher says the flex fit do not look good on my dome. Price for fitted MLB hats are getting crazy. And that's kind of where I'm at. Fitted hats don't look good on my dome. They stick up. It's weird how our heads are all like different and we look goofy. Like some people can rock the bald look. I don't think I would look weird bald. Some people can rock the top hat, flat bill, but not me. Let's see. Dan says many of mine are knockoffs. Shane is team snapback. The only thing that annoys me about snapbacks is getting the perfect snap. Sometimes you got to play like, it's kind of like me trying to figure out I don't even know what the name of the tool is. Drill bit, maybe. Trying to get the right size. So it's like, oh, nope, this is too big. Oh, we're going to go down. Nope, this is too small. Back and forth. John prefers snapback fedoras. Keeps him guessing. Jonathan, what's up? Good morning. Fellow cardboard nerds, unite. Mark says, once a week shave. Geez, I'd look like Rip Van Winkle if I shave. Oh, I don't even shave once a week. I shave like once a month. Yesterday, that was probably going on a month without shaving. That was probably about a month. My boss also prefers clean shaven, but that's sometimes like, Ryan says, to be clear, I said nice hat because my buddy who works for the Cubs gave it to me and I hate the Cubs. So I gave it to Bo and I wear it. Sports card ripping teacher, just like all the 1999 jerseys my boys wear, they look legit. They do. I've got a bunch as I was going through my closet, I'm like, and most of them don't fit me anymore because I've gained some size in the midsection. I have quite a few China jerseys and ain't no shame in my game. I'll wear a knockoff. Tea Timer says, if I was a free agent, I would hire Boris. Hell yeah. He's going to get your money. John says, be angry at everybody all the time. Consistency is what matters. No one is ever disappointed if you're always consistent. There you go. Wow, I didn't realize I was that behind in the chat. Did everyone get a nice sales bump with the holiday yesterday? First extremely strong sales day since the Super Bowl. Mine was down, which I'd kind of anticipated just based on the amount of sales. I kind of needed a down day. Did I have, where was I at? Yeah, I fell short. I fell short of my daily goal, but it was kind of a welcomed relief because I'm still, buried in orders to ship. John says, what do you keep in the credenza behind you? That's a good question. Over here, it's just a mountain of Cubs. Over here is just empty boxes and the Rhino bobblehead. The door that is not closing. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. The other door, that door that is closed. That's all my logged Cubs cards on Trading Card Database. So I wanted to, so I don't have to go back and delete everything again because they get mixed up with non-cataloged cards. So they go in there. Raphael, what's going on? Monica Lewinsky had a dress with life experience. There are lines to be drawn here. There you go. Max says, give me the mintiest card possible, especially vintage. See, I'm team character. Give me the shittiest one. Not the shittiest one, because there's some really beaters out there. I want just some nice character on it. Some wear and tear, but I want it to be clean as far as like, I don't want paper loss. Corners dinged are fine. Creases even. As long as I can read everything and see everything, that's my game. Michael Renicky, what's up? Peter's in the house. Good morning. Brian says that would be quite the DNA relic card by Allen and Ginter. JW is here. Good morning. Mark says all my pre-1970 sets are well loved. Lots of stories in those cards. Absolutely. John says that jersey Bo is wearing was not DeJesus vintage. That uni stopped in 1981. DeJesus did wear this jersey. Well, not this jersey, but he did sport this style jersey. I think this style was worn from 77 to 81. I think John's right, 81. This specific jersey was for a 1977 throwback day, which Ivan DeJesus, was he on the 77 Cubs? I know he was on the 78 Cubs. He did wear this jersey, this style. Let's see. He was on the Cubs in 77 through 81. So he basically only wore this jersey. Shane says, now I see Bo buying a new hat and then spiking it in the dirt and stomping and twisting it repeatedly to make it look good. Yeah, and curving the bill. Mark says, spot on. Went to a Cubs Mets game in 1980, and they wore the road pinstripes. Let's see. Kyle says a hat is supposed to have some sweat, blood, or fish guts on it. I'll save the fish guts. If not, it just doesn't look right. Shane's in the house, live again. Shane says, I think 1982, Sandberg is wearing one on his Fleer rookie. Maybe they didn't go into 82 on these. The arm patch was different after 1981. The red circled version started in 1982, like the one on Bo's hat. Details. Bring back pastels. I agree. Max loves buying bulk for sure. Built a business on it. Hell yeah. Freddy's Burgers. Talking burgers. Burger King has awesome cheesy tots. I don't think I've had. See, I'm not team tot. I'm not like some people are like. There's a sports bar here in town called Tanner's. They moved. I haven't been to their new location, but it was right across the street from my old office. Like my coworkers, it sounds weird when a grown-ass man orders tots. I'd like a burger with a side of tots. Like, are you 7? Tots? Who eats tots anymore? Shane does. And my coworkers. Apparently Wisconsin loves tots. And Iowa. I did not order the tots. Tots. Good morning, Porter. What's up? Bo looking like Wooly Willy after a fresh shave. I know. I don't like it. Max is a communist. Charbroiled burgers are burnt, nasty garbage. You're a communist, Max. Unicorn Cupcake says Culver's butter burgers are pretty decent. They're okay. James says Hardee's $1 chicken sandwiches at WIU and the Herald at 3 a.m. Culver's blows Burger King out of the water for burgers. Disagree. Hard disagree. John says BK Burgers, best of the rest, but In-N-Out is king, full stop. I'm not an In-N-Out fan. Michael likes the leftover lasagna. Max says, correct to Shane, I wouldn't feed Burger King to a homeless dog. Flawed thinker, good morning. Salmon croquettes. Can't air fry Apple Jacks. Yeah, you could. I don't know if it would work. You could try it. Shane says most of the people in this chat should probably have their cholesterol checked ASAP. I'm leading the list. I am leading that list. Tea Timer says Burger King tried to tow my vehicle 10 years ago. I was scammed. Never been back, nor my kids. That's a bummer. Charlie's in the house. He's listing and shipping. Max wants to know, are you not from America? Welcome. Shane says, I had a pizza like that once. Took one bite, spit it out. One of the worst things I've had. I don't understand how you can make pizza that awful. It's hard to fuck up a pizza. Is Anthony Rendon the biggest dick in sports history? I don't think so. I read some of the comments and I don't understand. Like, maybe is there video? Like the comments that were written out, like maybe I need more context. But like playing baseball is a job for him. Like I get it. Let's try to find what he said. And maybe I didn't read everything. But when I read that, they're like, oh, like baseballs. Oh, there is a video. So he says on baseball being a top priority, Anthony Rendon says, quote, "It's never been a top priority for me. This is a job. I do this to make a living. My faith, my family come first before this job. So if those things come before it, I'm leaving." Like, I love it. Like, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. I don't know what else was maybe that, like, I know that was a comment that was I don't know. So here's somebody, Hot Ice Card says, the Anthony Rendon hate is weird. If you can't respect a man for saying his family and faith are priorities over baseball, then you are probably the one with issues. And I agree with that. Like, I don't understand why people, like, those are the quote. That's the quote that I keep seeing people are hating on. And it's like, no shit. He's 100%. That's how every baseball player should. That's what they should all say. I've had 2 Mets hats since 1980. Wow. That's impressive. Do you just not wear hats, or do you still wear the same hats? Bo likes the dad hats. If that's, yeah, curve bill, like I'm 40 now. Not a dad, but I'm not hip anymore. Well, I was never hip to begin with. But at one point in time, I was younger. And I could have been hip if I chose to be hip, but I chose not. I chose to collect baseball cards. Where is Donald Davis? Did he send the yellow Wemby to SGC? He was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still in the chat. Unicorn Cupcake says, I think we'd have to ask your mom, to John. And then he says, just kidding. $245 million for a job he doesn't like. He's a complete ass. See, I disagree with that. It's a job. I don't think he said he disliked it, did he? He just said it's not a priority. I don't know if this is, I think that's a fake quote. So here's some more quotes. The question was, last year you said you'd consider retiring. What's your mindset now? Anthony Rendon says, my enthusiasm has been the same since I got drafted, to be honest with you. I was actually deleting old emails because my storage to my maximum in my email. So I'm going back and deleting old emails. I emailed myself a pros and cons of why I wanted to stay in the game. This was in 2014. My thought process of the game has not changed since then. I keep making it this long. I find nothing wrong with that. How does your pro and con list compare to 10 years ago? Anthony Rendon says, it's a lot different. I'm married. I have 4 kids. My priorities have changed since I was in my early 20s. So definitely my perspective on baseball has been more skewed. No shit. We've all changed since our early 20s. Next question. Is it still a top priority for you? And we've already said that. And then the reporter follows up. Is it a priority? And Anthony Rendon says, oh, it's a priority for sure because it's my job. I'm here, aren't I? Which, yeah, you already asked me the question and I gave you the answer. Now you're asking it again. Now I'm kind of annoyed, and that's my answer. That was just me saying that. That was not a quote. The reporter followed up. Do you want to be here? Anthony Rendon says, I don't want to talk to you guys at 7 a.m. or whatever time it is. That's a pretty honest answer. I have no qualms with any of these comments by Anthony Rendon. Do you want to be playing? Do you want to be here playing baseball for the Angels? Anthony Rendon says, I have answered your question. So why do you keep picking at it? Which he gave pretty clear-cut answers. So I think the reporter is the dick in this instance. So yeah, I don't understand the Anthony Rendon hate. Andy Mack says, I was front row center twice for Pearl Jam. I wore my favorite Cubs hat each time. At each show, Eddie gave me the first pick he handed out that night. That's freaking awesome. By the way, Pearl Jam at Wrigley Field, August 29th and August 31st. I will be there. Not for both shows, but probably is the 29th is probably a Saturday, so I'll have to make note of that when I schedule the Madison Card Show. Do not schedule on the last. Oh, no. August 31st is a Saturday. Maybe I will go to both shows. So yeah, maybe I'll have to do August 24th for the Madison Card Show. Then my son borrowed the hat and lost it. No. Johnny M says to Shane, they should probably be more worried about the clogged arteries. Yes, all of the above. Our crypto update from our cryptocurrency correspondent, Low Roller Scratcher, it's about to hit $53,000. TJ Maxx is a good spot for the last season hats and jerseys. New YouTube show, Tool Time with Bo. I would love to see you talking about DIY and tools. No. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Where's my screwdriver? It would be me trying to find my one screwdriver, or one of my two screwdrivers. Porter says, I'm a new era, low profile 5950 guy. T-Timer says, I agree. Hanging a TV would go viral. Oh my God. I'd fucking smash it with my only hammer. Because I wouldn't be able to figure it out. It wouldn't even go like home. It would be worse than Home Improvement. I'd burn the house down trying to hang a TV. Max says, is your reasoning behind the character is that you can buy it cheaper? No. I mean, that's definitely one of the reasons, but I don't like the look of a mint condition vintage card. It looks fake. A mint condition vintage card looks like a reprint. That's why I don't like it. At least if it's banged, and I understand you can fake it to look vintage, but a true vintage card, like as long as it's, let me find a good example. This is perfect. So this is the perfect example. This is Ed Rulbach, 1911 T205. It's a 1. But it just it's got some creasing, it's got some whiting, but it's still the colors pop. It's got some wear. It looks like it's 115 years old. It looks like a mint condition one looks like a reprint. Looks like it was made 10 years ago in somebody's basement. So that's why. But I also it's not the reason why I like character. But another reason is, yes, I can get ones cheaper than 4s, 5s, 6s. So that does also play into it. But I would rather have a bunch of ones than, a bunch of different ones than 1/6 of somebody. But I also like the look of a beater more so than a gem mint. But then it's also like, you paid how much for that? PSA 8? Let's see. John says, shit, I do have it backwards. I don't know what that means. Let's see. DeJesus makes the cut. That jersey will always remind me of the Russell brothers. Yes, 1977 tops, one of my favorite cards of all time. John says, Freddy's is underwhelming. Max says, yes, I opt for tots as well. Don't want some shitty ass chips. Tots. Burger King cheesy tots are not tots with melted cheese on them. It's a 4 or 8 piece, and they're cheese stuffed tots. Get them next time you go there. When did you eat In-N-Out? Probably 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Probably 3 years ago. No. Whenever my first year at spring training was, which would have been 2019. Was that my first year at spring training? Because I think right before COVID, that was my second year. So yeah, probably 5 years ago, because I haven't gone back because it wasn't impressive. Neil's in the house. Good morning. John says, did you not see where he said the MLB season needed to be shorter after having played 58 games a year for the last 4 years? I did not see that comment. Mike Cho says, okay, I'll come find you. Not sure I can bring it all up. Well, just come find me and we can do a parking lot deal. Absolutely. We can do that. 100%. Did you not see him try to choke out a fan? I didn't see that either. Have you seen his con? See, this doesn't have any, like, if he chokes out a fan, like, if it wasn't warranted, if the fan was being a dick, then it's probably warranted. Maybe it was warranted. I don't know these stories. If I looked into it, I could make a decision. But a contract, like, I don't care how much a guy makes. Like, I'm not going to judge somebody by how much they make. Like, that's the owners. That's the owners are paying them. It's like, hey, show me the money, right? Ask the greatest players ever about the off-season jobs they held. See, now you're just being an old man yelling at the sky. Like, it's a different game. It's a different time. It's not the 70s anymore. Like, Flawed Thinker says, I have no problem with Rendon's comments. Baseball was probably his passion at one time, but he eventually got tired doing the same thing every day for over half a year. It may have been his passion at 6 years old, and then he got tired because his parents were dragging him to every summer league, summer tournament, and he was probably burned out by junior high and high school. But he's super talented, and now he's a multimillionaire because of it. And, like, not everybody loves their job. Like, it's a job. Doesn't matter what you do. You could sell baseball cards in your basement. It's a fucking job. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. But it's still a job. And are there times where it's like, shit, I've got all these shipments to get out, but it's what pays the bills. Max says, shame on the dude for being honest, right? It's like, fuck. Let's see. Shane says, I would take any job for $245 million, whether I hated it or not. I get you. Max says, MLB season should technically be shorter too for the health of the game. And I don't really disagree. 162 games plus spring training. It's a long season. Now, as a baseball lover, I don't know if I want it to be shorter, but yeah. And, you know, could you get away with doing a game a week on baseball? No, absolutely not. But it's all about the money. They're not going to retract games. There you go. T-Timer says it, all about the money. My point is that he should at least act like he cares. Well, then he's lying. Do you want him to lie? Like, he's being honest, which is kind of a lost art. I don't want him to be all unicorns and rainbows and not be himself. Be yourself. You don't like your job, like, say it. Don't be afraid to speak the truth. Sometimes I bitch about selling baseball cards and people watching are like, you sell baseball cards from the basement of your house. How can you be cranky about it? Because sometimes that happens. If I eat a steak 3 days in a row, it's like, the steak isn't good. Well, there's starving children in Ethiopia that would love to eat your steak. That's what my parents used to always tell me. Finish your plate. There's starving children in Ethiopia. Max says, reporters, the media just need to go away. I think pressers after every game are stupid too. I don't disagree with that, and I've got a media background. John says, after hearing you read the quotes from Rendon, then yes, he is the biggest dick in sports. See, I disagree. I think he's completely honest, and I have no issues whatsoever with not a single quote that I read that he said. He gets asked the same questions every other athlete does. What a martyr. Mr. Archer, good morning. Mark says Tom Glavine said the same thing when he played for the Mets when he blew the 2008 division. Fans skewered him. Max says Rendon isn't being fake and saying what people want to hear. Amen. Like, I don't want athletes to do all this coach speak. Like, just be yourself, be true. And when you're true, John Keating might not like you, and that's okay. We don't have to please everybody. I don't want people pleasers. I don't want kiss asses. Like, just tell it how it is. Like, I don't want to come on here and read every comment and be like, yes, John, you are absolutely correct. I agree 100%. Like, if I said that to everybody, like just kissing everybody's ass in here, what the fuck? You don't want to do that. You don't want to listen to that. You don't want to listen to me anyway. Well, you're here. There's just nothing else to watch right now. Be yourself. Even if you say pizza is overrated, at least Max is being true. He's wrong. Just kidding, Max. No, I'm not. See that? Oh, just kidding. No, I'm not. Shane says that's because people are insane and think that if you're a sports player, you can't have a life outside of it or miss a game for any reason. Max says T206 a little more understandable than 64 tops. Okay. Let's. I should. Okay, I'll concede on this. I agree. So when I say vintage, I should probably be more specific and say pre-war, tobacco cards from the 1800s, because vintage, most people say goes up to 1979. Do I want a beat up, bended, creased in half, ding corners 1978 Topps card? No. And that would be considered vintage. So yes, I will concede and say I agree with this. 1964 Topps, I want it to be in, better condition. I'd rather have a Gem Mint 64 Topps than a PSA 1 just beat up crappy card. So in that regard, yes. When it comes to pre-war, give me the character all day. Let's see. Dan says you should get that Russell Brothers card signed by both if they are both still with us. They are. In fact, Paul still lives in Macomb, where I used to live. I used to see him like 3 times a week. He came out to all the WIU basketball games. Rick, I believe, is out in Pennsylvania still. I don't know if I have that card signed by both of them. I do have multiple autographs of both. I have a ball signed by both of them, and it says Big League. Who wrote it? I think Paul. I saw Paul at the Cubs convention, and I had him write Big League Brothers, and then he signed on the sweet spot, and I said leave room because I want to have Rick sign. And then like that same year, Rick was at the National. I think this was in 2019. Rick was one of the free voucher VIP signings. So I got him to sign the ball also. Mark agrees with Shane. Some fans go over the line. I just prefer the players we pay a lot to see just care a little more. See, and I don't care. Like I'm watching them play a game. I don't care as long as they give it their all on the field. I don't care if they like it or not. Like they don't have to care about the game as much as I care about the game or as much as another fan cares about the game. As long as they play and do their thing, I don't care about their feelings. Dan says, I meant to ask, where did you eat? Because I know they aren't in the Midwest. Arizona. I have been outside of Wisconsin, Dan. I have left the state. I have ventured out. Max says, I haven't been to Philippines or Korea, but I've been out of the state of Wisconsin and Illinois. Max says, LRS, just because you didn't get a 1099 on it doesn't mean it's tax-free. I've been just skipping his comments. I was in another conversation where it's getting close to tax time. So now all of the baseball cards selling crappy tax advice is going around. So we're just going to let Max and Low Roller talk it out in the chat. Dan says, didn't they already trim the spring training schedule down? I don't think so. I think it's the same. Maybe they cut a few games. But I think it's the same. I know it's the same time that they're out there, but maybe they cut a few like games, but there's still like a game every day. So John says all seasons but football are too long. The spokesperson for this, however, shouldn't be a guy who shows up a third of the time. Who's that? Let's see. Where are we at? John says, Mark and I will forgive all of you when you come around on Rendon. He's an ass. He might be an ass, but I'm not going to judge him on the comments that I read. Like, I think that's just being honest. He might be an ass, but he's not an ass because of the comments I read. Let's see. Max says, oh, we're still talking about taxes. There we go. I'm not saying he's not an ass, but most of the stuff that comes out on him is just him being honest, and the fan deserved it. Just an FYI. I'll have to read about that. Mark Marinello says Derek Jeter made a living giving the reporters nothing, and most athletes do. And there's media training courses. Like most pro athletes, probably every pro athlete in the big sports, the big leagues, go through media training, and they're coached on how to speak to the media so they don't say stupid shit that's going to go viral. Where we at? We're going to skip that. Tax Talk. Matty Ice, good morning. He says only 25. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. SoCal guys in the house. The perception may be that Rendon would rather be somewhere else besides the baseball field. He's only there because he has to be for the money. That probably rubs off on other players and fans. When I worked, the last job I worked, I hated it. And the only reason I was there was because of the money. That's the only reason. Max says, Max is talking to the brick wall about taxes. So let's see where are we at. Let's just, there we go. I'd rather talk about Anthony Rendon than taxes. As I state, it's Rendon's body of work. Name me a city that would get behind a team with 25 guys that publicly put baseball down the list. But they should. I'd rather a guy say I put my family before baseball than a guy that says baseball is my number one priority ahead of my family and my children. Do you want a guy? Are you that? I knew Philly guys were, Jesus Christ, man. You want a guy to say baseball is my number one priority over my children? Come on. Did you tell your clients that you were only there for the money? Did your employer condone you doing so? Well, I mean, I wasn't making Anthony Rendon money, so it was a job that, it's a dime a dozen, so it wasn't crazy amount of money. I told clients I hated my job. But I didn't have a microphone in my face every day. If I did, I probably would have said that. I also wasn't under a contract. So, probably if I had a microphone in my face at 7 a.m. every morning and I was under a contract, I probably would have said what Anthony Rendon said. Absolutely. But I didn't have the media. I didn't have press conferences every morning or afternoon. So I wasn't talking to the media. So a lot different. Unicorn Cupcake says, how big is the new ballroom? It's the same size as the ballroom that you're set up in. So it's the same size as that one, which I think is about 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. David says, are you at spring training for the prospects game? I am. I'm trying to get front row behind home plate as soon as a ticket comes, because those are season tickets. And usually they do come up for sale for games. You have to pay a lot more, but it's okay. I will pay up for, a game a year. I also don't like the language on StubHub where it says it's not, which I don't know how they can do that. It's not like a seated game. I don't know. The wording kind of like, I don't know if I want to spend $80 and it's not my guaranteed seat. So yes, I will be there. I will be at the game. It's Cubs White Sox. It's the prospects game on March 15th. It's a Friday. I will be there. Millionaires in baseball are a dime a dozen. Isn't it just assumed that people are working for the money? Such a dumb. Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, kids grow up dreaming about being a professional baseball player, professional football player. They don't grow up dreaming about being a salesman for a transportation company. They don't dream about being a banker or an accountant. Maybe I'm sure there are. It's not pretty common, you know. Where are we at? All right. I think we've kind of talked enough about that. And we're an hour and a half in, so I've got some shipping to do, a lot of it. Have a great day. People have different dreams. Let's see. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Link in the description. Madison Card Show this Saturday. Oh, the banner. Ryan mentioned it early in the chat, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to change it on Facebook. I didn't realize the banner in here says 135 tables. And here, 90 minutes later, I finally realize, there we go. Now it's changed. Madison Card Show this Saturday. Sheraton Hotel on John Nolen Drive. 175 dealer tables. We've opened up a third ballroom. So if you're coming out to the show, if you're coming in through the front door, through the lobby, you know where the Williamson Ballroom is. You go to the right, all the way to the back right corner. The State Street Ballroom is to the left and in the corner. There's also a side entrance that you can come in so you can start there, go to the State Street Ballroom first, make your way down to the Williamson, then go upstairs. Don't forget there is a second floor, about 100 tables. Is there 100 tables? Yeah, there's about 100 tables upstairs, about 40 tables in each room. So in the first floor. So about 80 tables on the first floor, and about 95 to 100 tables upstairs. So there you go. This Saturday, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolen Drive, for the Madison Card Show. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store. Tomorrow morning, we'll go live again, 7 a.m. Central. See you then.